Hi there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Capital A Trading, and welcome to another episode of my Forex Weekly. Sorry I weren't here last week, I took a little break. Here we go again. There's some news to check out in the charts, nothing too massive, but again, watch how I interact that with the charts, see how you can catch on to some pound pairs. So if you trade, if you take investments, hit that subscribe button in the bottom right corner, stay up to date with the channel. There's a lot of exciting content coming from now until the end of the year. With that being said, I just want to say a quick shout out to my sponsors, the Absolutely magazine. Thank you for everything that you've done for me. It truly does mean a lot. For those of you that are new to trading and want to learn, want to enhance your skills, check out my website, www.capitalatrading.co.uk, where you can learn a whole lot more about trading. With that being said, we're going to go straight into the fundamentals and then into the charts.
Okay. As always, it's important to start the week just having a quick look at the fundamentals, see if there's going to be any news that impacts the charts. This week, there's nothing really too bad to write home about. So first of all, Monday, I'm going to watch the Bank of England's Haskell speech. That's going to be at 9:30 in the morning. Going to see how that affects the pound. Hopefully, there'll be an entry around the New York Open. So Monday morning, there'll be some work to do straight away. Tuesday, again, it seems to be more news on the pound. So just watching how that's going to interact. That'll be an hour before the London Open. So just seeing what's happened there. Again, maybe catching a New York Open entry or even the following day. Wednesday, again, nothing really to worry about. I'm going to focus on the Canadian dollar just after the New York Open. And again, see if there's going to be any strength in that pair. Thursday, again, it will probably be the US dollar now, just around the New York Open, watching to see if that's going to have any impact. All the news that I'm mentioning, none of them has high impact. So I'm not expecting anything to cause too much volatility in the market. And then we get to Friday again, I'll focus on the pound just to see what it's going to do before that London Open. So a lot of focus is going to be around the pound. So just be sure to check out them pairs when I go through them in the charts. Let's get into it. First up, as always, it's going to be gold. And I'm just going to show you this weekly pictures to start off with. I believe we are heading towards that 1900 mark, 1890, somewhere in there. And I believe we're going to get just a little push to the downside this week. Of course, last week, as you can see with the daily movement, we've had a very bullish week. I just want to see that start to level out, start to struggle, and then hopefully we can get a push to the downside. So anywhere around here, I'm going to open it up a bit more and say the 1880 to the 1900. This is the areas that I believe price is going to come and interact with. If I just come down to the 4 hour, I like how this area has held up and it's kind of stuck under here. So I'm just going to be watching that to see how the week starts, see if we're going to get a straight away a quick push to the downside, at least towards this 1830 mark, where I believe we would then continue to go for that maybe higher entry towards the 1900 level. So keep an eye on that one. That's going to be gold USD. The next one is going to be the gold euro. And again, it's just a little weekly picture heading into this area here. Possible imbalance, again, being filled around the 1640 level. So that's going to be a key area to watch. And again, we're just looking for the push to the downside, looking to see some strength in the dollar. A target for this one would be around the 1540 mark. So if we can get it from there to there, it can be a very, very profitable trade. Keep an eye on them too. That's going to be gold euro and the gold USD. Okay, next up is going to be the US 30. Again, there was a trade recently that I was looking at around the 35 to 100 mark, 300 mark. Had a little reaction, but then continued rising to the upside. So now I just believe a little bearish structure even is forming here, as we can just see prices coming down, making lower lows, lower highs. If I get to the 2 hour time frame, this is the area that I'm looking at around the 36,200, let's say 36,300, somewhere in there. I believe price is going to struggle and then continue this little structure that's been forming. Keep an eye on that one. It's going to be the US 30. The next one will be the UK 100. Now, for those of you that follow me, you'll know why I'm looking at this. You'll know I've been waiting on this area for quite a while, since the start of the year, and we're finally there, funny enough, towards the end of the year. So it's come towards my level, and this is the weekly candle. It's hit the level and just started to show a little bit of signs of struggling, and there it is there. I'm going to watch how that forms at the start of the week, and I'm just basically looking to see price stay below the 7,400 mark. If it does that and struggles here, I'm going to be more and more confident in taking the trade back towards the 7,000 level. So keep an eye on that one. It's going to be the UK 100. Next up, it's going to be US oil, just with all the catastrophe that we had recently, with everything that was going on. I just I do believe now it's starting to level out, and it's leveling out around the 84, 85 mark. So what I'm going to be looking for now is just to see price come back towards that 84, 83.50, somewhere just here, play off of this area, play off of this candle, and then have another big push to the downside. So it looks like the money is being pumped on the bearish side. That's where the bigger candles are forming. That's where I believe something is happening, where a transaction's about to kick off. So I'm just going to watch how this fares at the start of the week, push back towards the 83.50, 84, and then hopefully we can get a position there for the push to the downside. And with that, there's a target back towards the 78, 77 level that's been left open. So keep an eye on that. It's US oil. Okay, next up is the baby. It's the euro pound. For those of you who follow me, you'll know I trade this pair a lot. There's a few of my students that are actually in a position on this now where we're riding the sell. You can see the red line as the entry mark. So what it was, again, I just noticed price started to level out, started to move down the stairs, as I call it, started to see some interactions with a certain area just below the 85, 800, 85, 900. And then these two candles kind of confirmed it in the middle part of the week last week, where I just saw price come and hit this area. It showed me that any minute now, price is going to start to drop. So I do believe the target is here around the 84, 800 mark. I'm going to be watching that and just kind of keeping an open mind. I have got a sell position on, and of course, I would want to see it go through this area for more profits. But let's just see what happens. Let's see if it struggles here. I'm going to keep an open mind. If I do see the struggle and the push, I'll think about closing my sell and then focusing on that buy position. So keep an eye on that one. It's going to be the euro pound. Of course, remember, we've got a lot of fundamentals around the pound. So let's see what happens Monday morning. Okay, next up is going to be the USD Swiss franc. Again, another pair that I've taken a liking to lately. There's been some good trades, some good positions. Again, just looking at this daily time frame, I feel like we're back in a level where if we're going to continue down now, and of course that Friday's price action showing a rejection at that level around the 92,400. So basically we're in a selling area again, and I'm just monitoring to see if we're going to get another push to the downside. Now what we've had is price hit a level that I wanted to see it come and hit right here, and we're struggling. So we've been here now for around 2 days, just struggling in this area, not being able to go higher than what looks like the 92,300. So keep an eye on that area, the 92,300, 92,400. I believe at some point we're going to get a push to the downside. And again, it could be a nice simple 100 pip move to the 91,400 mark. So keep an eye on that one. We can keep a nice small risk. USD Swiss franc. Next up is going to be the NZD USD. Now, again, this is a trade that I've mentioned recently. We've had a beautiful rejection for around 6-7 days in the area. And now we're starting to get a monstrous move to the downside. It's already gone around 200 pips. So now, again, looking at this area, what I want to see this week is price just pull back up towards the 71 level, continue with this journey to the downside. I do believe it's trying to come down all the way towards at least the 69 level. So let's just see price come back up towards here around the 71. There is some US dollar news later in the week. So hopefully if it's coming there in the night, start to see the struggle, US dollar news, give it that strength to the downside. So keep an eye on the 71 level. That's all I'm predicting for the NZD USD this week. Okay, next up is going to be the Euro USD and the Pound USD, the majors. And I just kind of want to talk about what I'm seeing, what I've mentioned recently, and how we can look to catch a move. Maybe not this week, but maybe early next week. So first of all, the Euro USD, there was a good move recently. I mentioned from this level here, we've had a new low. Now, what I'm looking at, if I just come down to the 4 hour, is I want to see price start to fight back against the dollar early in the week. And I'm only really going to be interested in taking a position in this if it can come back up towards the 15800 level. So it's about seeing the euro beat the dollar up at the start of the week. And then, of course, like I mentioned just a minute ago, if we can see some of that US dollar strength at the later part of the week, it'll be a good time to make an entry. That's the Euro USD. Very similar on the Pound USD. Again, I'll just get to the daily. There was a good area mentioned around the 138 recently. Had a lovely move to the downside, making a new low. And if I just come down onto this 4 hour time frame, this is the swing that I'm looking at. I want to see price just fight back, come towards that 135, 500 level. And like I just mentioned with the US dollar, hopefully we get that strength and then that push to the downside. Keep an eye on them levels. Next up is going to be the Pound NZD. Now, the first thing I want to show you is just this daily movement. looking at how the bearish structure is remaining intact. Every time there's a blue candle and then we get the bearish movement down, there's not a blue candle that can go higher than the most recent one, as you can see here. So all I'm going to look at now, if I just get down to the 4 hour, I like how price has been struggling off of this area, off of this candle here. And it looks like the 191 is the area that's been manipulated, and we're starting to get a push to the downside. Now we're 80 pips away from the area. So all I want to see now is price just pull back up towards that 190,800, and then again start to see the movement to the downside. Keep an eye on that one. It's going to be the pound NZD. Next up is going to be the pound AUD. Now the first thing I want to bring to light is that it's been struggling at this level now for 3 weeks and struggling to go lower. So if I dig deeper into that, I just want to see how price is going to interact with this level here around the 182,500. So we've had a nice bearish movement. We've had a big structure break. This is what allows me to know that there's been money pumped in the market on the pound side. It came back and retested the area and moved again, making a slightly new high. We're now coming back towards that sort of trigger entry area. So again, keep an eye on the 182,500. Let's say 182,300. Give it a bit of space to breathe. If price starts to struggle out here again, then I believe we are going to be pushing to the upside, and I've got a target around the 185,500. A nice big move. Keep an eye on that one. It's going to be the pound Australian dollar. Similar to what we just looked at is going to be the Euro AUD. Now I'm just going to show you this 4 hour picture. Basically what I've seen is that this was the last time the market makers were here before they made that movement to the upside, which again slightly made a new high, taking any liquidity above this area. There's already been some type of market maker play in this area, how the candles have just been slapping back into that black one. So now we're coming back towards that level around the 155,500. I'm going to be looking to see if there's going to be a buy push on the euro from there. So keep an eye on that one. Again, try to synchronize it with the pound Australian dollar move. If they're both looking the same, have a go. Back the pound and the euro. That will mean that the Australian dollar will be getting weak. Totally random pair, the Swiss franc yen. I just want to describe what I'm seeing here on the weekly. So we've had a bearish structure moving down. We've had a slightly different bullish structure, a lot more slower moving up. So now if I just look at this picture here, I do believe if we're going to continue with all of that, then price is going to push back towards this level and then continue higher. So now I'm going to be focusing on the sell to start the week. I like how price has leveled out around this 124, 125 level. It's struggled. It's been there for around 2 weeks. If I just come down to the 4 hour, again, you can see the bearish structure starting to form. So what I'm looking at is just a sell position around the 124, 300 mark off of this candle here, and then a continued push to the downside, where if you can see the daily target will be around the 122 level. I want to see price come back towards this bearish candle here. So keep an eye on that one. That's going to be the Swiss franc JPY.
Okay guys, that's all from me this week. Again, thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button in the bottom right corner. Stay up to date with the channel. Like I mentioned, there's some exciting content, some educational content for any beginner and advanced traders. With that being said, if you want to learn more, if you want to take this skill on further, check out my website, www.capitalatrading.co.uk, where you can find out more information on there. A quick shout out to my sponsors, the Absolutely magazine. Thank you for everything. You can check that out now. It's available in all Waitrose and M&S stores. My article is on page 95. Have a read. With that, have a great trading week.